Hey, welcome back to the Soul Pod. This is Stacy. The great John Muir, about 150 years ago, said that in every walk in nature, one receives more than he seeks. This video is going to be about grounding or earthing. It's known by different things, but it's essentially the same thing. Um, Muir's quote, what he's talking about is how there is something about nature that we've known for clearly a very long time. I've got quotes too that I can go back even further where people talk about the connection with nature. But it's especially, we find a lot of quotes around the time of the Industrial Revolution when electricity was coming in, when industry was coming in. And this was when Muir was alive, like the mid 1800s was when he said this. And what was happening is that we were becoming disconnected from the earth as more people were moving towards cities. We were becoming more and more disconnected with nature. And the more connected you are with nature, the more you realize how much it matters. When you're disconnected, you may not know. If you've always lived in a city, if you've never been around nature, you people in cities don't understand why people like me love to go camping or love to go to the desert, because there is something about being in nature that literally changes us physiologically. And we're going to get into some of the details of that. So this video is for anyone who wants to feel more joyous and would like a simple tool to do that. A couple videos back, or maybe one video back, I talked about different tools you can use to improve your happiness. And one of the things I mentioned was grounding. If you want to turn around your spiritual rut, one of the things you can do is just get barefoot in nature. That may, to some people, sound ooh gross, but I'm telling you, I've got the research for you. I'm going to show you exactly how this thing works, and I'm going to show you how to develop a grounding practice or an earthing practice, and tell you why that's going to be really good for you. So the practice itself comes from the idea that Earth's negative charge is there, and we're connected to it through evolution. We've, for the vast majority of human existence or humanoid existence on Earth, all the different versions of us before we became this version, we've always been connected to the earth, and usually either with bare feet or feet that were covered with something like animal hide, which would not block us from having the negative electric charge that you get from the earth. Negative in this case is a positive thing. So, now we run around with our feet completely covered. Many people don't touch the ground at all. Some people think it's gross and it's dirty. They don't want to be around it. And, maybe if you're in a large city with, the only grass available is in a park and you don't know what's in that grass, pesticides, needles, God knows what. I could see why you'd be nervous about that. But the whole concept of it is that we have lost that. We have lost that connection. It's just like John Muir said about, you get more out of nature than you expect to get out of nature when you go into it. And you can palpably feel it right inside of yourself. Well, the research now shows that that's true. That's pretty great. The ongoing research, and there's just been small studies that have been done. Now, mind you, this practice has been around for a while, and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. And as I've said in other videos, do we need science to tell us what we already feel, what we know is true? The difference between a knowing and a learning, well, there is a difference. But do you need something written down somewhere, a study done to tell you something like love exists, or we have a soul, or gravity's real? There's many things that you don't need proof of to just go, this is true. It's true for me. If it makes my life better and it's true for me, I don't need science. But science is nice, right? So there have been some small scale studies around this. There's not been a lot of large scale studies around it because they can't monetize it, so there's not a lot of money in it. But there have been some universities and other institutions that have looked into this, and they've looked at things like, what happens in your body when you get into nature. Well, here we go. Endorphins in your body. Small scale studies are showing that the happy chemicals in your bodies and our body are released when we get in nature, when we get barefoot in the sand, or we get our feet in the dirt, or walk in the grass, or lay in nature. Like just being close to nature. Something they call forest bathing is just being out in nature. You don't have to be barefoot, but just being in it is forest bathing. It's just breathing it in. Your endorphins increase, which reduces inflammation and stress. Not a bad side effect, really. Serotonin increases, which improves mood. You want a little more positive mood? You want a little less stress. You want a little less inflammation. Dopamine is another good one. Dopamine increases. Dopamine enhances relaxation. So greater relaxation, improved mood, less stress. Pretty good. Pretty good side effects of being in nature. So what does it take? What does it take? What does it take to create a grounding exercise or a grounding practice? And it's important for this thing to be consistent, right? Any chance you get. Well, it's not that tough. All you have to do is set aside some time. Set aside some time. Pick a time, day or night. I like starting my morning off this way. Usually on the weekends it's morning, and the evenings it's depending on the time of year. Sometimes in the winter I change it up. But there's something about getting barefoot in my front yard, whether I'm sitting out there playing an instrument with my feet on the ground bare for 15 minutes or more, you know, or either evening or morning. But what it is about picking a time, doing it consistently, and doing it for at least 10 minutes, 10 to 30. 30 is great. If you can get 30 minutes in, great. 15 is pretty darn good. So if you can consistently do 15 minutes a day, uh, you'll see the difference. So the benefits, of course, are improved mood, as I said, from all these great positive chemicals. But there's also another benefit, which is nice, which is better sleep. You sleep better because you're more relaxed. You're balanced. You also have increased energy and focus as well as another side effect of this practice. So, I mean, you see the list is quite nice. We got reduces inflammation and stress, improves mood, enhances relaxation. It helps you sleep better, increases your energy and your focus. And all that you have to do is just get closer to the ground, get more in touch with nature. So the options are these. You can stand or walk barefoot in grass and nature and dirt and sand or whatever. You can, in my case, like I said, I sometimes just sit with my feet on the ground. You don't want concrete or asphalt or anything like that because it's not natural enough. So you want like dirt or sand or grass or daisies, whatever you want to stand in, right? You can also sit if you want to, if standing is not an option. Some people have physical limitations. Another thing you can do is you can actually lay in the grass, which is, I remember as a small child, some of my greatest memories were just laying in the grass and looking up at the clouds and just feeling so wonderful, watching the birds fly over. And I never put those things together and thought, oh, I'm grounding, I'm earthing right now. And I think it was partially that, but it was also partially just being present, being in the moment. But that's a really nice combination. If you can just allow yourself to lay on the ground, you know, preferably with bare arms, bare feet, you know, take your shirt off if you can. I have a nice yard, so I can go shirtless if I want to. There's something about just being exposed to nature in that way that is really lovely. Water also is another thing you can do. If you have a river nearby, like I do, you can go barefoot in the river. There's something about standing in the river and just squishing your toes in. So there it is. Take the challenge. What do you think? You want to do it? So this is it. The challenge is this: 7 days. 7 days. Now, if you I'm doing two videos back to back where I'm dropping challenges. I don't usually do that because I don't want your challenges to conflict because they'll cancel each other out because you run out of time. So one challenge at a time. If you've already picked up the other challenge, then do that one and then come back to this one. But 7 day challenge, 7 day challenge to start your grounding or earthing practice and do it for 7 days straight and journal. Just a short note how you feel it's affecting you each day. Like each day, just as soon as you're done, just sit down and whether it's on your phone or on a physical journal, I grounded for 5, 10, minimum 5. Okay, 10 is better. Grounded for this much time. This is how I feel. Next day, I grounded for this much time. This is how I feel. Earthed, grounded, whatever you want to call it. Did some earthing today. 15 minutes. This is how I feel. After 7 days, I bet you'll feel the difference. If you feel anything, even if it's just annoyed, leave me a note. Leave us all a note so that anyone who's watching this video later can come back and say, oh, I wonder how it worked for people. And they can check out the notes and they can see what the results look like. Maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't. But honestly, I haven't met anyone that it hasn't worked for. You have to be highly resistant to this to not have it have a positive effect on you. And as I said, there's a lot of really good benefits. So enjoy. Thanks for being here. Thanks for enjoying my channel and sharing my channel and subscribing to my channel if you want more content like this. Subscribe to my channel. Wow, how did I do that? And if you haven't checked out the Soul podcast yet, check it out. I think that you're going to like the Soul podcast. It's longer versions of longer dives into stories like this. If you're a podcast person, you're going to like it. It gives you tools for a more joyful life. And who doesn't need that, right? Tools for a joyful life is always a good thing. Glad you're here. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you on the next video.